The northern eye wall of Hurricane Matthew is pounding the South Carolina coast. I'm Mike Naso from the IPR Tropical Update page on YouTube with the latest yet again on our Hurricane Matthew, which has really been causing just a lot of problems up the southeast coast of the United States. As of 5 a.m., the center of Hurricane Matthew was at 32.0 north, 80.5 west. It's actually a new position now. It is actually 32.2 north, 80.4 west. So it's lost a little bit. It's gone a little east and a little more north. Very, very close to the South Carolina coastline. Winds still 105 miles per hour. A powerful Category 2 hurricane, gusting as high as 125. It's moving north-northeast at 11 or 12 miles per hour. It really has been moving at quite an average speed, 955 millibars, so still a very powerful hurricane. And even if it misses landfall, it is just riding the coastline. It came very close to the Florida coast, Cape Canaveral, yet a wind gust to 107 miles an hour, and then it just went straight up the coast like that and has begun making that eastward progression now. But it still might make a landfall in South Carolina or even areas of North Carolina and be a hurricane for the next 24 hours or so, and then it will weaken into a tropical storm and then a depression as it interacts with Tropical Storm Nicole, which was a Category 2 hurricane just 24 or 36 hours ago, and that's going to spin out here in the Atlantic. We're not going to talk about Nicole. We're going to focus on Matthew and its impacts. But still, just a very record-breaking storm in many ways, and a very deadly storm. The death toll in Haiti is pushing 900. So this is the deadliest hurricane we've seen since the 2005 hurricane season. We do have a hurricane warning all the way up to Surf City, North Carolina, hurricane watch up to Cape Lookout, tropical storm warning from north of Surf City to Duck and Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds. Obviously, this system has a growing wind field, and so the impacts are going to be widespread along the coastline of the Carolinas. Just a general East Coast hurricane, somewhat rare, very rare actually, for October. If you told me this was August or September, it'd be more believable, but for October is quite rare. There are the computer models which all swing it back, and remember, if it does loop around again, even if it's down here north of Cuba, it's likely to be a shadow of its former self. But nevertheless, areas of the Bahamas which got absolutely devastated from a Category 4 impact are going to be feeling some portion of rainfall or something in the next 4 or 5 days, which might cause a little bit of a, fly in the ointment for recovery efforts in those areas. Now, there's the satellite imagery, and you can see it doesn't look like it did yesterday. The eye is not showing up on the infrared, but it's there. It's right along the South Carolina coastline. We're talking 10, 20, 25 miles off the coast. So those impacts are obviously widespread, and it still has a lot of moisture pumping in. And look at that onshore flow, which is in a direction right into the South Carolina coastline. We've been looking at a lot of storm surge. Hilton Head has been getting hurricane force gusts well into the Category 1, approaching Category 2 force. And we also had the Georgia coastline having hurricane gusts, power outages, trees coming down, coastal flooding, storm surge, still a major concern with this hurricane. And that is what's the bad thing in this area of the coastline here. It is rare to get strong hurricanes, but when they come in, they could force a lot of water in. And this is one of the worst, if not the worst, hurricane to impact the area around Jacksonville and Savannah since the 1898 hurricane, which was obviously back in the 19th century. So that shows you what a historic event this is in hurricane history, let alone in American history, as many Americans are feeling the impact of this storm right now. There's the radar image out of Charleston radar, and you can see the eye of the hurricane is right off of Hilton Head, and areas of Beaufort and Charleston is next. The eye wall is currently raking the coastline. It's actually onshore, the northern and northwestern eye wall, which based on this radar actually appears to be stronger than it was when it was offshore Florida. At that time, the eastern eye wall looked rather strong, and look at all this heavy rainfall. I cannot stress enough the rain impacts of this hurricane. Look at the rainfall rates just in the last hour or two. I mean, you're talking, look at this, the pink is 10 inches. You've got 10 inches of rain, some places more than that, and that is going to cause big flooding concerns. We're going to see tide gauges on some of these rivers overflowing their banks. Remember Hurricane Floyd back in 99? The flooding in North Carolina, all the farm animals that died, all the people that died, all the devastation. We do not need a major flooding event in the Carolinas, but you can see all the way up to really Sumter. You're looking at just heavy rainfall. Georgetown, Myrtle Beach, you're next with the heavy rain. As this hurricane moves parallel to the coastline, that rainfall is going to persist, and that's going to cause a lot of problems. The wind impact has been very historic with this hurricane. Hard to believe how long it's been around. One of the longest lasting major hurricanes we've ever seen. You wouldn't think that. We've had so many in the past. But it became a major hurricane very quickly here in the southern Caribbean about a week ago, and it became a Cat 5, and then it was a Category 4, and it took that track right over Haiti, devastated it as a Category 4 hurricane, killed several hundred people, and we fear that death toll may even rise close to 1,000. And then devastated areas of eastern Cuba as a Category 4, and then right up through the central and northwest Bahamas, Andros Island, Nassau, Grand Bahama Island, all as a Category 4 hurricane, and then of course grazed the coastline of Florida as a Category 3 and 4 hurricane. Now it is nearing a landfall, perhaps, in the South Carolina coastline as a Category 2. So just a very historic track and a very historic hurricane this October in the 2016 hurricane season. Again, the rainfall, I can't stress enough, storm surge and rain. Look at some of these rainfall estimates from the National Weather Service. And again, if this graphic is to be believed, it's North Carolina too. This is North Carolina in the next couple of days. It's not just South Carolina and Georgia. We're going to be seeing this rain shield move to the northwest, the northeast, and that is a problem. Because as this storm parallels, the rain keeps falling. So an area like Augusta, you've had rainfall as the hurricane moved north. You have rainfall now as it moves north-northeast. You'll have rainfall as it pulls away off to the east. That is a problem. You're going to have a lot of heavy rain and flooding. Shaw Air Force Base, Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, you guys are in for gusty winds and heavy flooding rains. And there you can see the eye almost made a landfall there. It might miss a direct landfall. Landfall's when the center of the center crosses the coast. So even without a landfall, this hurricane's impacts have been very bad. You can see the northern eye wall there approaching Charleston as a Category 2 storm. Very dangerous. Again, a lot of people are wondering, was this overhyped? Was it hyped too much? Look at what it did to Haiti. That's what a Category 4 hurricane does. They devastate areas. This storm lived up to its hype, and we need to be thankful that the eye wall did not make landfall in Florida as a Category 4, because what we are seeing now is just bad enough, let alone what could have happened and what did happen in Haiti and Cuba and the Bahamas. I'm Mike Naso from IPR with the latest on our powerful late-season Hurricane Matthew wrecking havoc along the southeast coast of the United States.